So let's get more insight now from Chief Economist at Alexander Forbes Isaah Mhlanga. Isaah, so you've covered your fair share of budgets in recent years. You've had panel discussions with many of the Treasury figures. In fact, we share the stage a few times. So you would be familiar with the critical capacity in that department. Now, firstly, Dondo Mogajane's departure, I mean, anybody would agree this is a loss for government, isn't it? It's a critical position that he held at a time when government is pushing our economic and fiscal recovery. How significant is his departure?
Look, Divan, I think it is significant. We have seen the positive impact on the fiscal or his leadership through turbulent times. Through the pandemic, having to table 3 budgets, which is essentially the February budget, a special adjustment budget, and another MTBPS in 1 year in 2020. So that was, quite a lot of work, which I think it came at a very critical time. But I think, and for that, we really have to say a job well done to him steering the fiscals in the right direction. But I think we should not forget that, National Treasury is an institution. It's not an individual job. We have capable people that are running different departments, very technically competent. And it so happens that with every departure of a senior member, whether in business or in government, questions are going to come to say, how does it leave the institution? But as far as I'm concerned, having observed a number of colleagues at Treasury, they have a lot of depth technically to be able to continue doing what National Treasury has to do. By no means am I saying this is not a loss. It is a loss in terms of a leader, but we do have other leaders that can emerge out of National Treasury to be able to carry through the work of Treasury.
And you can mention a few of them, and you've got the head of public finance, Mampo Modise. There's Duncan Peterser, who handles government's debt portfolio. There's also Edgar Sishi. We've had Dondo Mogajane just mentioning him in the budget office. And Dondo Mogajane is saying the department is not short of experienced people there. You've just mentioned that. So, the question is who replaces him? I suppose the names I've mentioned could be on that list.
It's quite possible. Any one of those can be able to expound the function quite successfully. I have no doubt, given the experience which they have, and also the understanding of public finances in general, any of those will be able to carry out. But ultimately, we just have to wait and see who government is going to appoint to fill that position. It is a very critical one at a time when the global environment is experiencing significant uncertainty, but also locally the demand on public finances will continue to increase. And I guess the next big one will be the decision on the universal basic income grant. That is going to be quite critical. So whoever that has to come into that space will have to continue with fiscal prudence, which makes sure that our fiscus is safeguarded, but also where we need support to economic growth, that support comes through. That's what we would expect from anyone. But I think the underlying point that I want to leave is, National Treasury is an institution. Let's not be sensationalist. And there is enough depth at Treasury to be able to continue safeguarding our finances and supporting the economy. That is what we need to continue hoping National Treasury continues, whoever comes to the position.
Yeah, Isaah, one more thing before I let you go, and I suppose that's precisely the point. Apart from the fiscal management of it, there's also the issue of outside perception. So the DG is important because it's what investors and donors, among other things, also look at. It's the face of Treasury and the credible figure that's there. Am I right on that one?
No, absolutely. Credibility of whoever is a key, leader in an institution matters a lot. But out of the names that we mentioned earlier on, all those names have credibility. They are not only technically competent from an academic point of view, They are also technically competent from practice because they have been a trader for quite some time. So they understand the nitty-gritties of dealing with other government departments. So I'm confident any one of them could be, will be credible. I have no doubt. I have no doubt about that. Obviously, perception for markets, but I guess more importantly, from South Africans in general, that's where we need that perception to be good. And I think people will be confident in any of those names. But we will just have to wait and see. It could be an outsider, it's possible. But I think historically it has been an insider, which we hope it could be this time again.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks very much indeed. Isaah Mhlanga is the Chief Economist at Alexander Forbes.